Alright, set that to episode 3 IRL, yep.
A Brain Block podcast, right?
Brain block.
Hello and welcome to the Brain Block podcast, where we block your brain from anything that you should actually be doing with distractions of things such as Sword Art Online commentary that universally hated anime, unless of course you're talking to my fiance who seems to like it, but she hasn't watched the first season 3 times in a row yet like everyone else, because in my personal opinion, the more you watch that show, the worse it gets.
Yeah, the more you think about it, the worse it gets as well.
Honestly, it's a good show if you watch it once, but if you watch it 3 times, you realize every time it gets worse and worse and worse. It never hits an equilibrium. It just gets so bad again that it reaches so bad it's good territory.
It has some good moments, and it has some ideas that are that would be good on paper, but it doesn't usually execute them very well. I will say the first arc, like the actual Sword Art Online part, while it has issues, it's fine. Like, it could be a lot worse.
But of course, where are our manners, as we haven't introduced ourselves to the newcomers, or basically anyone ever, because no one watches our shows, but that's another side point of my own tangents. Anyway, I am Joe, also known as Key Gaming. Here we have Harry.
Hello.
Also known as Super Mario Sonic Lover. And we have Scrappy.
Hello, everyone.
A dog. You can also find him on the hit show, no.
No, he's not on the show anymore. He never will be again.
What is that, like, commercial where it had, like, Scrappy trying to break in, like, ow, no one wants me in here anymore.
Like 20 years ago. I'm surprised you remember it.
The last fucking thing I remember is Shaggy and Scooby get a clue.
That was a good while ago, too. Anyways, yes, it did. To provide some context, Sword Art Online is a Japanese manga series written and illustrated by Cool Kyosin Jinja. The series began its serialization of Futabasha's monthly action magazine in May 2013. It's licensed in North America by 7 Seas. Oh, wait, this is the article. I'm sorry, this is the article for Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid.
Oh, brilliant.
Meanwhile, where Scrappy gets the rights to a Wikipedia document, just as a prerequisite, I have actually been down the pub.
Yeah, so if this gets a little bit weird, then there you go, that's why. Yeah.
The correct word is interesting.
Sure, we'll go with that.
Actual article from Wikipedia. Sword Art Online is a Japanese light novel series written by Reki Kawahara, the author of Excel World, which is, I guess it's sister series.
In a way, yeah.
Illustrated by Abek. The series takes place in the near future and focuses on protagonists Kazuto, Kirito, Kirigaya, and Asuna Yuki as they play through various virtual reality MMORPG worlds, often to their own literal peril. Kawahara originally wrote the series as a web novel on his website from 2002 through 2008. So, just side note, yes.
No, I don't believe that's true. I swear I remember hearing someone say that it was originally written as a story. No, the original writing of it was a part of a story writing competition. However, it took too long to create because he went overboard with it and then published it as a web novel.
Is that true?
I think fairly certain that's true.
Story into a competition, and that's how I got an official light novel publication.
Okay.
May or may not have got that out of order then.
Actually, hold on, right into the production. Kawahara wrote the first volume in 2001 as a competition entry for the 2002,
Boom, called it.
How I pronounce this, ASC2 MediaWorks Dengeki Game Novel Prize, but refrained from submitting it as he had exceeded the page limit. Joey, you were correct. He instead published it as a web novel under the pseudonym Fumio Kunori. Over time, he added 3 further main arcs and several short stories, which are the first arc Einkrad, which is the setting of the first arc were later adapted into the light novels. In 2008, he participated in the competition again by writing Excel World, and that's a segue. This time winning the grand prize. Aside from Excel World, he was requested to get his earlier work Sword Art Online published by ASC2 II Media Works. He agreed and withdrew his web novel versions. Long story short, this guy was able to get actual success online because he basically went overboard. And then when his other work got successful, he was able to officially publish the one he's now actually more known for. So, long story short, Sword Art Online is about what a dumbass is who kind of just wind up stuck in these various virtual reality MMOs. Sometimes voluntarily, a lot of the times not.
Yeah.
Genuinely, these people are just not fucking intelligent.
Yeah, I mean, they tried to like play it up like Kirito's like crazy smart and stuff, but it's like just so stupid. But
Kirito is not smart. He is an idiot. And I don't need to continue that thought. He just is.
he's
That speaks very poorly to the rest of the supporting cast, though.
No, Kirito's stupid. The supporting cast dumber.
oh god.
That's what I meant.
For the most part, I'd agree with that, but so yeah, let's actually go into the proper first arc now, I think.
Let's get down to business.
Let's discuss Signcrad. Oh gosh. Okay, so
Which, by the
in
way,
the near
Minecraft was originally the name of an early battleship.
really.
Yes, it was a classification of battleship.
Now I know something.
How do you know?
Okay, so effectively in the near, but not in the far, but not that far anymore future, MMOs have evolved to become very, very user-intensive, so to speak. Virtual reality has actually been perfected, and so this new game called Sword Art Online has been released. A bunch of people have entered into the game with these new fancy headsets, including a beta tester named Kirito.
Yep.
He's a nice guy named Klein, who, in my opinion, is probably the best character in the show.
Honestly, he's the smartest character in the show, and he's the one who's made out to be a dumbass.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd agree with like being the best, but yeah.
I mean, best is subjective, because most of the people just say best girl is insert name here.
I mean, yeah. I'm trying to hold my tongue because there's stuff I want to say, but it's not till later.
Not yet.
Poor Harry. He's
Calm
just
yourself.
building up his reserves so he can go all out.
Yeah.
Oh, and
Oh, yes, folks, I will try to be as even-handed as I can.
Yeah.
So, Minecraft, yes, of course. So, Kirito and Klein, they meet up. Klein gets clowned on because he's Klein.
Yeah.
Kirito, because he's a beta tester, actually knows how to play the game when he feels like it.
Yeah.
It's like, wow,
It's like
sword skills, but then they never come up ever again, except for plot that one time it's in the plot.
Well, I mean, what do you say? Like I'm a beta tester and I've already seen like the first 50 floors or like the first 10 floors. What is it?
It's like, I swear he claims he's climbed the entire tower in the beta, and he's like, I'm so amazing, look at me. I'm not just a beta tester, I'm not just a cheater, I'm a beta. Now watch as I beat my meat in front of all of you to assert dominance.
That was so stupid. Like, it's like, I'm gonna like show all these scrubs like I'm a beta. Like, The idea of
Those who are
beaters.
uninformed of
Yeah, you
For
go
those
on.
who are uninformed about what's Sword Art Online is that terminology beater is actually used in the show. They are not
Yeah.
just taking the piss. I mean,
Yeah.
they're taking the piss, but they're telling the truth.
Yeah, this is a thing that actually happened. It's the dumbest
But we're getting
thing.
ahead of ourselves.
Not really. I mean, that's what, episode 2?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Well-
we're not getting ahead of ourselves.
But first off,
Kiraton's mine.
we have explained like the deal with the Aincrad arc, right? With the whole like they die in
No,
real life.
I didn't get to that yet.
Okay.
And then the rest of the red shirts gather in the town square, and they find out from the creator of the game that basically they're stuck in there forever. If they
Yeah.
try to get their headgear off, they die. If they lose all their vitality in the game, they die.
Yep.
If a lightning storm knocks out your power, you probably are going to die.
So just
Well,
hope
no,
that.
because later in the game they retcon that by saying, "But wait, there's a D-cell battery in your headset, so you don't die when you're getting unplugged and shoved into a fucking hospital."
Yeah.
Okay, then I was wrong.
Yeah. I
But they all
didn't.
passed out because they lost connection.
Oh my god.
That's in the show. It's fucking retarded.
Yeah. Like, I will say this about the Aincrad arc. That is a very. There isn't a simple concept that's you understand the stakes. It's like, okay, this is probably gonna be kinda scary for them and all that. And no, there's nothing wrong with the concept, and I will say, pretty much every arc past this point kind of struggles with stakes because they never really do this you can't die in the game thing again. So, yeah.
Yes, Aincrad is the most, I guess, for lack of a better term, straightforward
Yeah. It's like
threat level for the protagonists.
Yeah, it's very simple, straightforward. You understand the stakes. You know what's that. You know why they want to get out of there, and on the surface level, it's fine.
It's when they add other plots later.
Yeah, and the reasoning behind why the guy made the game that really just
That's his name.
yeah that God. I'll get to that because I have some choice words.
Yeah. We
I'm
will
mentioning
get.
Kirito and Klein, like they're actually some kind of like dynamic duo who hangs out a lot. They don't. I'm
They
sorry.
really don't. Like they were like like Kirito like just kind of buggers off like in like the next few scenes.
Fred and Klein. Now I'm gonna part ways with you and go hang out with some other jobbers,
Yeah,
and that may save Klein's life actually.
yeah.
Go home, buddy. I work alone.
I work alone.
It's like, okay,
Which is he
as
does.
me.
Yeah. Okay, so the actual
Instagram.
meat, the actual meat of the Aincrad arc involves Kirito's, at least for the first few episodes, kind of just drifting alone for most of the time, helping various characters of the day either not die or just do game stuff.
Yeah.
He's predominantly alone because he's a beta tester and they're only half accurate in the final version of the game because obviously beta testers don't know everything.
Yeah.
Testers end up not knowing shit all because the game's always completely different at launch unless it's Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Thieves, which I have choice words about being a beta tester for that.
Yeah, that's a story for another time. But yeah.
Kirito's effectively drifting around, being the man with no name, the Black Swordsman.
Oh yeah, does he
he's the
not
coolest.
have? Does he not have a name?
He has a name. I'm just making a reference to Clint Eastwood character.
Oh, okay.
He's just the drifting vagabond vigilante guy.
Nice.
He thwarts enemies and doesn't afraid of anything.
Nice.
soon enough, he connects with one-time ally from episode 2, Asuna Yuki, his
Yep.
associate, later lover, girlfriend, technical child.
Yeah.
And then they pair up, join the Knights of the Blood Oath to actually start playing the game so they can get out.
Yeah. And like the
Not by choice though.
Yeah. Oh god.
Oh yeah, Kirito basically gets railroaded into having to be cannon fodder, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. And I believe the next few episodes pretty much just, oh, let's introduce a character, then they just kill them off. And
Not always.
not always, but it kind of just got annoying to me, where it's like, okay, I understand what you're trying to do. You're trying to make me feel things and feel bad for these characters and all that. But it's hard for me to do that when I barely even know them in the first place. Because I know there was one, like this this girl that befriends Kirito at one point, and then she dies in... Yeah, and then she dies in the dungeon with like a group of people. And I'm like, okay, like, we've spent time with this character for like, what, one episode? And you're already killing them off. And I'm sorry, but I don't feel anything when it happens that quickly. Like, give it a couple episodes to actually let it sink in, like, oh, this is a massive loss. And, like, actually make it so I can understand why Kirito's, like, really upset about it and all that. Because, you know, when you don't build up your characters enough like that, again, it's hard for me to care, I'm sorry.
Don't worry, I didn't care either.
That's my main issue with the Aincrad arc, like, you just kill the characters off too quickly. Like,
it's like,
dude.
ah, you're so cute, you're such a great match for him, go die.
Pretty much. It's like, dude.
And then at the end of that episode, because everyone fucking died, the freaking guild leader jumps off a fucking cliff.
Yeah. Like, it's like, there's a scene where Kirito is just listening to a message left by her, and like...
Oh, that's the next episode.
Right, and he's like, crying to...
Same episode.
It was the same on the next one, it doesn't really matter, but it's like... am I supposed to be feeling something? Because like he's crying to her and all that, and I'm just kind of just sitting there with a blank face, like, okay, like, what? Oh god, I don't want to sound horrible, but like, there's a better way to.
Level I can actually manipulate your emotions. I get it.
Yeah. Like Sword Art with. Sorry for interrupting, but like one thing I will say, there's one specific arc that actually like tugged on my heartstrings a little bit. Like that's the only one I can think of where the emotion actually landed, but that's not gonna be for a while.
I understand I can see your complaints. I can also understand that. In theory, this is a show where they're trying to. This is an isekai anime because Sword Art Online basically didn't create it, but definitely popularized it in the last decade.
Yeah.
For better and for
What's
worse.
worse is it's also considered the worst one.
No, it's not the worst one.
I don't know.
Oh no, it will never be as bad as in Another World with my cell phone, but that's bad.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say that cell phone one. Like, what the hell was up with that?
I don't even know what you're talking about, and I'm scared.
I don't know. I've never seen it, but it's basically what it sounds like.
The title has the entire plot. Some guy gets hit by a truck, and then he's reincarnated into another world with his cell phone with an unlimited magical power, and basically just uses his sat-nav to cast nuke.
It's not amazing, but it might be garbage.
It's fucking garbage.
It might be like. Is it so bad it's good though?
No.
Oh, because that sounds like something that would be good riffing material.
It's good riffing the material, but it's not so bad it's good. It's so bad that you have to make your good out of it.
Sometimes the worst things are just disappointing things.
Yeah.
What was
Jeez.
I gonna say? Yeah. So I can understand in concept that this is it's stuck in a fantasy world anime where they kind of want to drop the gauntlet and show, yes, we mean business. And the funny thing is, we mentioned Sachi. The first anime opening has her in the opening, making her look like she's gonna be part of the main crew. She's not.
Yeah.
So actually pulling the rug out from under us is, I will admit, kind of amusing.
It is kind of amusing. Like,
It's a decent way to play with expectations, but I can understand where Harry's coming from. Like, you want to at least try
But
and
in the
build up.
manga,
yeah, you try and build up for a little bit. Like, give us an actual connection to the character first, and then kill them off so actually the emotion actually hits.
and then
Sachi
all
was
zero
a
people
sacrificial
who cared
lamb.
ended up
Yeah.
just screaming at the screen. But in the manga,
Yeah,
you
because
get 3 pages, not just 1.
Because, like, when your character is specifically designed just to be part of, like, just going on the chopping block, basically, it's like, what was even the point at that stage? Like, dude.
Plot.
Kirito needs to get some man angst.
Yeah.
Sachi's basically a dry run for his other young, adorable friend, Silica.
That's still one of the
Old wyvern dragon thing.
yeah,
Oh,
that.
she's adorable.
Yeah.
Fucking useless character, but she's
Yes, she
adorable.
is.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, she is. She's cute.
You
And
always
she
gotta,
lives.
you gotta have your moe characters,
And that's her entire point.
basically,
She's the little sister character who's actually better than Kirito's little sister, so
yeah.
she has my respect for that. Wow, I feel we lost the plot. Speaking of plot,
we know
Minecraft,
where the plot
the
is,
first
we just don't care.
the first season of Sword Online episodes, but they only spent 14 of those 25 episodes in Minecraft. So there's it's simultaneously, that whole arc is simultaneously stretched out with filler, like a murder mystery that takes a few episodes to solve, and also rushed because they keep jumping ahead early on.
Yeah, I remember like later on in other arcs when they flash back to Sword Art, they sometimes talk about, oh, remember like this thing that happened, and it just flashbacks to something that you never saw, and like just kind of expects you to kind of roll with it, and I'm just
But
like,
in the
dude,
manga,
it's like you don't write a story like this, like what the hell?
Yeah, in universe, Kirito and company spend like 2 years stuck in their
Yeah,
MMO comas.
yeah.
So seasons of anime in and of itself, but I'm not sure if that would have worked. But maybe they could have spent a little more time in Minecraft.
Yeah, I mean, God, Alphelm or whatever didn't need to be a full half of a season or whatever.
It's only 11 episodes, and it's still too much.
Yeah,
it feels like a full season. Not gonna lie.
yeah. God.
But then
Like,
when you
I
watch most
think-
anime, it's like, wow, we got a whole 12 episodes. Enjoy, bitch.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're never getting a fucking sequel.
Devil's a part-timer. This feels we sob.
The fact that like Sword Art gets so many sequels and Devil's a Part-Timer just doesn't at all, like, is criminal.
For online,
Oh,
makes
I'm
money,
sorry.
Harry.
Have you not? It sounds like you haven't been living with this level of misery since Spice and Wolf.
No, I've heard as much.
I lived through that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I actually
and it's
watched through
suffering
Spice and
something.
Wolf when I was off school sick. And then I saw the episode where Wolf was sick.
Yeah, I'm gonna
And
stop.
I
I'm
just had all the feels for that.
I'm just gonna stop you there because I want to actually watch this anime at some point.
I haven't spoiled anything.
Okay.
It's like saying main character gets the sniffles. It's like, okay.
The character gets sick
Oh.
at some point. Got it.
Cute girl loses bikini on beach. It's like,
Oh, of course.
nice. That actually doesn't happen in the show.
Oh man.
See, that's a spoiler.
That's not a spoiler. That's ruining expectations.
What was I gonna say? Where was I? So, Aincrad. I'm sorry, folks. We have like an outline of a schedule to keep up with.
Yeah, this is a
Welcome
mess.
to the Brain Block podcast, where our brains are as blocked as your nose in a winter's evening.
Good.
Okay, so Aincrad is just kind of all over in terms of structure. It's just Kirito, like I said, it's just kind of Kirito walking the earth, trying to find his place in the world, solving the character of the day's problems. And then he meets or re-meets Asuna, gets railroaded into working with her guild. And what happens? Kirito beats one of the high-ranking members because he's the best.
Because he's just so cool. With his
Oh,
back
man.
The high-ranking member, no,
and
the
his
high-ranking member kicked his ass. That's what I
magical black
remember.
uber sword that's the most powerful thing that a found monster so far can drop. He's
Okay.
just so cool.
Okay,
Give him
yeah.
some sunglasses.
If we're gonna talk about this real quick, there's one scene that just completely kind of spits in the face of the point of the show where Kirito is just like, oh man, I'm too good, you can't beat me, to like a group of guys who just they slash at him like repeatedly, and he regains his health faster than they can DPS on him. And like it's like, are there any stakes for Kirito in this show anymore? Like when you have the character who just does that, like why should I care anymore? Like it's so
Everyone else did.
stupid.
Kirito was grinding in the game, not that kind of grinding.
I mean, not saying he doesn't do that. We didn't see it. It wasn't on camera.
in time, Joey.
Yeah.
He was raising his level because he was basically had nothing else to do with his free time. So when a bunch of low-level player
raising
killers
his
tried to
level
take
in
him
his
out,
free
they just
time.
couldn't.
One thing I would, one of the worst aspects of Kirito's character for me is like when he ends up just, it's like, I'm gonna explain this really convoluted solution of why I'm the best and why this really stupid idea of mine is gonna work and it's gonna be great. Cause like, there's one specific part in the new series that I just had to just kind of sit back and just be like, did you really just do that? Like, jeez.
Okay, so, alright. So, first half of the first half for the first season, Kirito is solo,
Part two.
just doing whatever. He meets Asuna, gets his ass kicked by like one of the high-ranking guild members, has to work at the guild now. One of the guild members who was jealous of him for some perceived slight tries to kill Kirito. Asuna saves him because she's awesome.
Yeah.
They hook up because when Kirito said, "Can I spend a night?" after getting his hand chopped off, Asuna apparently interpreted that as, "Hey, let's have sex."
As most women do tend to get these things mixed up.
Yeah. It's annoying because like Asuna was like seemed to be an interesting character for a few episodes, and then she just became kind of generic love interest.
Yep. She was a generic character for about 2 episodes.
Yeah.
It's like, oi bitch, look at the clouds with me while I distract you into falling asleep so I can fuck off and get out of trouble.
See, the memory of the Bridge series version just in my head, and I just imagine him drawing funny stuff on her.
Implying that didn't happen?
Oh goodness. I'd hope it did.
I remember Asuna smacking a sandwich out of Kirito's hands, and he didn't actually deserve that.
Mm-hmm.
I also remember him accidentally groping her because it's that kind of show.
Oh, you gotta have that.
Boobies!
Yeah, boy.
Person lands on you after a teleportation accident.
But it's your
And
fault.
lands on top of you without even deciding to look where you are. Yep, Kirito is a genius.
I'm
She's on top of him, but she slaps him so hard he flies out from under her.
S-M-R-T.
Mm-hmm.
I cut you off. What'd you say?
I was making a Simpsons joke.
Oh.
Oh, well, I probably haven't seen that episode.
It's one of
Okay,
the
so what
older
happens?
episodes.
Kirito and Asuna get together. They get a lake cabin.
Yeah, they get a cabin in the woods and settle down.
One
They
Yeah,
go
th-
they
fishing and
actually
shit.
just,
okay, well, I
yeah,
guess
they just take a break from like nonsense, and it's
one thing
kind
I
of wholesome.
yeah, one thing I will say is this isn't like this isn't the best show I've seen visually, but I think for what it's worth, it is one of the stronger points of the show. And the when they're at the lakeside, it does have some good visuals and just generally just good art direction and whatnot. It's a nice show to look at.
It has the Dar factor.
Yeah. There are
Yeah, so
yeah.
Kirito and Asuna, I guess their love was so strong they somehow reawoke the game's player emotional caretaker AI. That's
Psychiatrist.
that's
It just happens to be a
that's
lolly.
ostensibly what the character's supposed to be. So after Kirito and Asuna pair off, a young child kind of just wanders into their life. Her name is Yui.
Yeah.
Because that's where
Oh,
children come from. They just come
Yeah,
from the
we're-
forest.
Yeah.
She just kind of wanders into their life, and they basically adopt her.
Yeah,
You know,
they
because
just
children just sort of wander into your life in the forest, and you just sort of keep them in your house forever. Then they grow up and apparently treat you like terrible people.
I don't know what the general consensus is on Yui, but I think they could have done it a lot worse. I don't mind her.
The general consensus is that she's one of the only wholesome and good things in the show, so everyone just ignores her because it makes it harder to take the piss out of how horrible the show is.
She's
I-
the only female character who's not romantically interested in Kirito because she's his daughter.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, there's a point where they almost go into
Incest.
incest territory, but we'll get to
Harry,
that.
don't ruin this for me. This is the one thing.
Yeah,
He
there
never
are
fucks the fairy.
good. Don't. Oh yeah, there are good aspects of the show. It's not all bad. Which is
Yui. Sorry, go on.
I didn't really have anything else to say. It's like, it may seem hard to imagine, but there are some good elements.
Okay, so Yui is not just some random vagabond child. She's actually the physical manifestation of the game's player emotional caretaker system. She's supposed to be the one who checks on the, I guess,
Code?
vibes of the human players.
About
That
the American premiums.
Right.
I guess. She basically went dormant after Kayaba ruined Sword Art Online the game.
She had a mental breakdown because she couldn't handle all the mental breakdowns.
And Kirito and Asuna's wholesome love reawoke her, and now they're her mommy and daddy.
Yeah.
And that revelation is amazing, but she has to go back into stasis for
Mm.
plot reasons, and Kirito's basically sobbing again, because heaven forbid he be happy for a moment.
Yeah.
Screaming intensifies.
And then, like, what does he do? Like, the Kirito somehow knows the password to the gate, to the game, or something.
It was password.
And it's like,
He preserves Yui's essence into a form of a teardrop, which he'll keep on hand with him for the rest of the arc.
I like the I like the teardrop thing. Like, I like the idea that they preserve Yui's life, but the
That
way
was the only touching moment in the entire show.
no,
That was actually the first episode I watched subtitled.
I would
Yeah, that's the segue. That's what I saw.
I would disagree with that because like the thing I said earlier about there being one moment that got to me, this isn't it. But I will say
It's the one moment that got to me.
okay, but like I will say again, like bring it like keeping Yui alive in the item is fine, but the way they do it is again like Kirito just suddenly knows the answers to everything, and it's just, dude, come on.
Wow, it's almost as if he's a fucking hacker, but he's not. He's just full of shit.
It's like some of the ideas in the show are fine, but like the way they do it makes it like so dumb.
It's like if you went to a bridge and they basically had it written as like, wow, it sure sucks that I need to know the password to this thing that I should really know the password to, but I don't because there's no fucking way I could, but the plot demands that I do. I know, I'll pull this wrench out of my ass and smash the fucking keyboard until it logs me in.
Yeah,
I'll
I'll say
roll 20 on a barbarian's logic check.
And I'll say this: if people are gonna say I'm hating on Kirito just because he does something good or whatever, like that's not really the reason why I'm ranting about it. Like if they made it so they found out these passwords beforehand for whatever reason and they built up to it in that way, then fine. My issue is the fact that Kirito just suddenly knows this stuff out of nowhere. And it just kind of ruins any kind of tension in this show. It's like, bruh.
To point out that Aincrad, the anime adaptation of the Aincrad arc, was basically taking Kawahara's original light novels and then taking the side stories that he had written in the interim, I guess, and combining them without really, trying to smooth over the pacing.
Yeah, it's Aincrad.
Sword Art Online may be the prime example of why anime adaptations should honestly take more liberties with their source material.
Yeah, Aincrad I think should have just been like forget Alfhelm or whatever. That could have just been like a short story, if that. Like Aincrad should
It was a short story. It was called Chapter 17.
A short story that went on for like half a season for some reason. But like Aincrad
16.5, Joey.
Aincrad really deserved to be just a full season on its own.
Oh, talking about 0.5 chapters, Full Art Equestria 25.5.
No, we're not talking about that today.
We're not talking about that ever.
This chapter must remain lost. That's
We do not
all I'll
talk
say
about
on the matter.
25.5. That's all anyone needs to say on that matter.
Okay, so after Yui gets yeeted, Kirito and Asuna actually try to move back into the plot because, the rest of the characters can't do anything without them.
Yeah, this is the other characters are just basically worthless. Like it's always to do with like what Kirito's up to. Like
They made up a
Yeah,
Klein
I
who's
sure wish I had a
not
break.
dead.
Hey, look, Kirito.
So Asuna Klein who's not dead, and the rest of the Knights of the Blood will make their final assault because it took them long enough.
Yep.
The government, no world government has helped them at all. They're basically on their own. On discussion on how that even works.
Yeah.
So, what happens? They fight a monster. Asuna bites it because Kirito has to suffer a little more. Confrontation with the guild leader, who is in fact Kayaba.
Oh no. Okay, we're going into this nonsense now.
You have the floor.
King of games, bitch.
Okay, so well, do you want to explain like the what happens in this segment first? Because like we kind of need context before I go off on one.
What happens? if you heard a loud noise in the background. Um, okay, I actually did not see it on television because I guess I just skipped it over. I guess my DVR couldn't record enough episodes or record too many and overwrote it. So I saw the abridged version, and it only makes slightly more sense.
Okay, so what I remember what happened is that Asuna gets killed, and then Kirito goes all berserk mode, and then he ends up getting killed as well, but then because lol magic, I guess, he like gets back up by just sheer willpower, I guess, and then beats...
we're already this far.
were we talking about this part, or were we talking about like an earlier part?
I mean, we completely skipped the part with the frickin' laughing. We completely skipped the laughing coffin.
I don't even remember
Did
that.
the murder mystery arc, and I guess that kind of has them. But yeah, I guess we
The
should bring them up.
2-episode murder mystery arc, where apparently there was a ghost in the game that was actually a player, or some shit.
Yeah.
And that never gets brought up again because.
Or acknowledged in the first place.
So if there's ghosts, how come everyone's worried about dying?
Yeah. Oh god. Oh, by the way,
Also, I think there's a.
I was gonna say, there is like an item where it's like, oh, if you use this item for like the first, what is it, the first 30 seconds or something, then you can revive someone, which Kirito tries to do for like, his,
Fallen guild mate.
No,
Mate?
not even
Mate.
the
It was
skill,
probably
just
Sachi.
that one chick.
yeah, and it's, yeah, and like,
It's like, oh no, it's not 30 months, it's 30 seconds. It's like, oh, fucking bullshit, throws at a decline. It's like, oh bitch, I have this useless item that I almost died for.
So that feels like foreshadowing, but it's not used to revive Kirito in the climax.
yeah.
Like, okay, here's a little bit of headcanon.
Before, I know,
After the fight with Kaiba,
hold on. I know what you're gonna say. Are there any arcs or not arcs, but like, are there any things that happen in Aincrad that we want to touch on first?
nothing that I particularly find important.
I can't think of anything
we
else. But...
skipped one quote-unquote filler episode where one of Kirito's friends is introduced.
He went fishing.
That
was so important to the story.
No, I know there was one.
Bad.
Are you talking about the Lisbeth or whatever her name is?
He had to do a blacksmithing mission with Lisbeth, and she's a friend of Asuna's, and she probably has the hots for Kirito, and that's about all of her character.
Bang, but she's a bit tsundere. She wants to bang Kirito, but she's kind of a tsundere, but actually kind of wants to bang Asuna more than she wants to bang him. Fight me, I'm right.
This with Klein for some reason, I guess because they're just kind of there, which
yeah,
Klein doesn't bang anyone, which surprises me because he's the only stand-up guy. Everyone wants to bang the asshole. As he slowly generates his harem, including his little sister.
Yeah, his harem when he's married in game. Like, why?
And if you go into the video games, if you play a female character, you also become a part of his harem.
Why?
If you're a dude, yeah, in the video games, if you're a dude, you're just his mate. If you're a woman, you're part of his harem.
Oh,
unfortunately, that's not really wrong.
It's not.
Sword Online does not treat its female characters as well.
No.
Sword Art Online doesn't treat anyone well. Either you're useful or you're a side or you're a background NPC.
Yeah.
You're female, useful, or an NPC. That's it.
Yeah.
See shit all else.
Yeah.
Or you're always the ultimate asshole. Everyone is an NPC to him.
Pretty much.
And then you got me in real life who just radiates NPC energy and just like no one presses A and expects me to talk first because they've got harder NPC energy. Stop making me the main character.
Just imagine, like, you just walk up to someone and you just see an A above their head.
I'm like, no. Just nah. Nah, mate. You had your chance. The last time I did this, I ended up on a side quest that ended up in me with a daily where I've got to remove someone's bins for 5 GP. I don't even have to remove the content of the bin. I just have to put the bin outside and go back to them and say, job done.
Oh, good.
You know, I feel like that tangent, I feel like Sword Art Online doesn't get into the nitty-gritty of just the minutia of MMO stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't mind an episode where characters just doing stupid fetch quests.
Yeah.
So I gotta do my daily so I can finish this fucking event.
Like, they barely focus on, like, the actual MMO side of it, really.
Aincrad itself is a pretty standard fantasy world.
Mm-hmm.
Just looks a little more high-tech because of all the numbers and screens.
But you see,
Yeah.
Sword Art doesn't actually have any magic.
You see, it's and some healing. They don't really use magic. It's just
Well, no, it's not
weapons
even
and-
magic, it's just potions. Oh no, so wait,
Yeah.
actually yes, I swear there's one time someone just used lay on hands and it actually works. It's like, wait a minute, how? You don't have magic.
Everyone- Also, despite the game being called Sword Art Online, apparently Kirito's the only guy who can actually do dual wielding as a skill.
Well, you see,
Yeah.
that's because he's special.
Yeah. It's like, I think it's one of those, like, convoluted solutions where it's like, oh, you do this, I'm actually switching the swords as I'm swinging them, so I'm, like, it looks like I'm dual wielding, but I'm cheating the system or something.
You are the designated main character of this MMO.
Yeah. Bruh.
Congratulations, you have achieved main character status. Everyone you now have to press A on people.
Side note, I think Klein is Kamahara's favorite character, but he doesn't use him much because the fans keep asking for female characters.
Oh god, of course.
If true, that is actually kind of sad.
Yeah.
Mind you, my source is Digibro, and I don't know if he's trustworthy.
Mm.
I mean, can you really trust anyone who still likes Digimon?
Digimon?
Like Digimon.
Oh
When
lordy.
Kirito wills himself back to life, the power of plot,
Yeah.
he destroys him. And he defeats Kayaba and finally confronts him to learn his motivation.
Okay, so
And his motivation is...
he
I
doesn't.
win because
He forgot.
Yeah, I hate that so much.
it's like, wow, I trapped everyone into this MMO because I wanted to be God, but then I just sort of just stopped giving a shit. But never released everyone because I know I'd be arrested for it.
There's like the
It's
whole
like either everyone dies or I die. It's
besides like obviously getting out of the game and all that, the thing you want to know throughout the whole arc is like why did he do this in the first place, and
it's like, lol.
like lol, I forgot. Okay, bye. It's like
It's like JK.
like that scene was like so baffling to me that I like there were other parts of the show beforehand where I got annoyed, but that was like the first really big offender where I just looked at what was going on and was just thinking, this is freaking terrible. like first off, they're just kind of in the clouds, like no explanation. They're just kind of in the sky, whatever.
You see, they're in the cloud.
Yeah, and then
No, they're in the cloud. I don't think he gets it.
He gets it.
But yeah, that's happening, and Kirito's there. He did main character crap. He's alive, fine, whatever. But Asuno's there. How? Excuse me. The time, that she died, and the time when Kirito beat who's its face? I always forget his name. Kaiba. Like that would have been like too long at that point for her to like come back, but no explanation given.
Never killed her in the first place. It just kept her loose. She respawned.
It's like
fuck you.
No, there's no explanation given. I was expecting them to be like, oh, okay, how is Asuna alive? How did Kirito do?
There's one explanation, but it fucks another explanation.
Yeah, and then it's like, Joey has a
Oh, here we go. Okay,
yeah, I was gonna say.
So when Kirito gets his ass handed to him by what's his face?
Kaiba.
Yeah. I have a theory that Klein used the item on Kirito there and then, and hadn't had an opportunity before then and just never used it, and that's why Kirito didn't die, and it's not just plot. But that doesn't explain how Asuna is alive.
Yeah, it's like you.
Too adjacent. His protagonist plot armor rubbed off on her.
Yeah, basically.
Well, you see, by fucking her, he injected into his source code.
He injected her with his bull crap.
Bull crap.
Yeah, just go with that.
I'm holding my tongue. Okay, so that's basically the end of Aincrad's arc.
Well,
Kirito beats.
If you guys want to continue discussing that for a moment while I quickly get a drink because my mouth is dry.
Online does that to people.
This is gonna have to be. This is gonna have to be multiple parts of this stage. We're not doing the whole show tonight.
So I guess we can just do Alfheim and let it scar us again and then end it.
Yeah, because there's way too much more of the show for us to do this in one go.
Gosh.
I don't want to skim through the rest of this in like 30 minutes. That wouldn't be right.
You have to really relive all this. Okay, go get your drink, Joey.
I guess I was gonna like say something else about the end of the Aincrad arc, but I'd prefer to do that when Joey comes back. So just continue the synopsis thing, I guess.
Alright, so Kirito, I guess, kills Kaiba, but spoiler alert, he, or rather a digital manifestation of his ghost, is still gonna be hanging around for a while. Kirito frees everyone from Sword Online, finally. Kirito awakes in his hospital, meets his sister, Sugawa. What am I getting at? And he's awake. And Asuna's not dead, but she's not awake.
Yeah. She's like in a coma or something, isn't she?
Yeah, her mind and the minds of about 100 other players, I believe, or was it 200? Several dozen players are still messed up.
Yeah.
Still stuck in virtual limbo. That's the segue into the Alfheim
Did you
arc.
miss me?
Okay, so
Yes, we did.
okay, so before we go into Alfheim, thing to say about the Kaiba part at the end of Aincrad. The thing that annoys me is that you build up your entire arc to what the man's intentions are. He doesn't know, and it's like, okay, why make me care about this? And then what is it? The fact, okay, you can make the argument that I keep forgetting names. That who's its face?
Kaiba.
not Kaiba, the guy that Joey speculates gave
Fine.
huh?
Fine.
Fine.
Klein, yeah. You can argue that Klein gave Kirito the life potion or whatever it's called. But no matter what you do, there's like, unless you come up with some asinine reason for why Asuna lives, there's nothing that explains like what happened. It's like I was looking at that part, just thinking, okay, are you gonna explain why Asuna's like alive again? Like, what is going on here?
No.
And this, when you make a show where you have clear rules set out and you follow through with them until the very end like that, it just kind of drives me up the wall, because it's just, what's the point in feeling any kind of dread for these characters when they're just gonna do bullcrap, I'm part of the main cast status and I can just get through anything? And why should I care about these characters being in danger anymore when they're just never in danger because lol, I have plot armor. And
See, sorry, not Kirito. Kirito. Well, you see, Harry, Asuna had to live because she had a very important role in the next arc, which was to be in a
She
cage
had
and
that
cry.
ass. Did Klein have that ass? No, and that's why the stakes were high for Klein. But Asuna, Kirito just couldn't have survived without her having that ass.
yeah, but like,
Got done dirty when she got quote unquote demoted to Kirito's love interest.
yeah,
Demoted?
Alpine completely dumped on her, and it was horrifying.
Yeah, but
Alright,
like-
folks, this is a good time for you to take a pause the video whenever this gets uploaded and take a break, because we're gonna segue into online now.
yeah, I don't think I have anything else to say about the scene. It's just complete garbage. Like, god damn.
So when did you get into Sword Art Online, Harry?
Okay, so I don't remember specifics, but it was a few years back at this point, and I remember just being like, oh, I know about Sword Art Online. I know, like, it's apparently really infamous, and I think I remember talking to you, Scrappy, at one point, like, it's like, maybe I should just watch this show just for the hell of it, and I remember.
Schmuck.
I don't remember what you said specifically, but you were pretty much just like, it's not worth it, dude, stop. Paraphrasing a bit there, but like, yeah, I got nothing better to do with my time, I may as well. So I did that, and
Regretted every moment of life after.
yeah, if you want to have a happy life, people who haven't seen Sword Art who are watching this, don't watch Sword Art. You'll thank me in advance. Just, if anything, just watch Sword Art Abridged, because I've heard that's, like, actually a lot better.
Harry, now every schmuck who's watching this video is like, challenge accepted. And then they're gonna walk right into the rake and have the pole hit them in the face. But
Be my guest, but it's you guys' funeral.
you will be cleaner mentally and emotionally if you don't watch Sword Art Online.
But yeah, that's all I have to say about Ironclad. So I suppose at this point would be a good time to like pause and take a break from if you're watching this like post upload.
Or now. We can give you like 15 seconds.
Yeah. Good break.
When I started watching Sword Art Online because my brother had it on, I think, on Crunchyroll in like summer of 2013. It was like a month before it premiered on Toonami. So I thought the episode was Yui, one of them anyways, and I kind of liked it, and so I watched the show on Toonami proper, and that was a That was an experience. That's my Sword Art Online story. What about you, Joey?
Alright, my Sword Art Online story is I can't even remember what service I found it on, but like the first 2 episodes were uploaded onto it, like full HD quality and everything. And I thought, oh, this is pretty cool, but this is a very interesting pilot for a show that I would very much be interested in watching. Because this is when the show was still being simulcast. And I thought, damn, that was fucking awesome. I think I watched it on like Amazon Video or something. And then the next thing I know, it's been like 2 weeks, and then I'm watching through the first season, and I'm like, wow, this is amazing. And then, like, I think a year or 2 passes, and then like all of Alfhelm is out. So I'm like, well, shit, it's been ages since I watched it. I'll watch it through again. It's like, okay, this isn't as great, but it's still pretty good. And then I watch Alpha, and I'm like, yeah, it's still alright. And like the whole incest thing went over my head, by the way. I barely noticed it. The third time, when season 2 came out, I watched everything and was like, oh god. And I'm not watching it again when season 3 comes out, which is either already happened or soon.
Yeah,
season 3 is already out.
Yeah, it's already out. Well, that's not going to be for a while.
I say it's the best one by default, but it's technically not done yet.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say? So, are we ready to jump into Alfheim? I mean, no one actually wants to, but are we ready?
I suppose.
Okay, so, long story short, Kirito and most of the SAO players reawaken, obviously emaciated from being stuck in a coma for 2 years. Thanks, world governments. We always know we can count on you. And, Asuna and about 100 other players, probably 200, I can't remember the exact number, are stuck in virtual limbo. But since SAO has been shut down, they're not in SAO, they're somewhere else. Kirito has to basically go into another virtual MMO, which no longer has the death in real life rule, and basically scour said virtual world to find Asuna. And that virtual world is Alfheim Online, or ALO. It's like Sword Art Online, but now everyone's a fairy, elf creature with wings and pointy ears.
But he does this because of the government giving him the game and a slice of cake at a fancy restaurant.
Yeah.
Or is that later?
That might be Gun Gale Online.
That might be Gun Gale.
I haven't seen those in more than 6 years, and I will probably never revisit them. So I'm going off of memory and whatever recaps the good people of Toon Zone provided back at the time. So yeah, Kirito is awakened. He's in his own real life now. So he's jumped back and forth, kind of like the second season of Digimon.
I didn't like the first 2 seasons of Digimon.
That's understandable. What was I gonna say? So the fantasy, the elf, fairy, pixie world, it has this world tree, and that's basically the end tower for that game.
Yeah.
Oh, basically, Kirito no longer has to deal with dying in real life. The worst that can happen to him in the game is that he'll have to, like, I don't know, wait 20 minutes, 2 hours to respawn.
Yeah.
Brain microwaves
I'll spend
anymore,
$15 to get quick respawn. Get straight back into the game. Thanks, Theo.
This is the part of the series where they kind of just struggle to find stakes for the every subsequent arc at this point.
Kirito does not have to worry about dying in real life anymore. He just has a straight goal to find his girlfriend and get her out and, you know, make sure she brushes her teeth before they make out.
So they can bang thoroughly.
He has a straightforward goal, and he spends 11 episodes lollygagging.
Yeah, it's an arc that really could have just been like maybe like a 3-parter or something, but it gets dragged down by a really forced, like, incest subplot thing that...
Goes nowhere.
Why would you do that?
We mentioned Kirito's sister? Ah, yes, we did. Her name is Sugua. Technically, I say with air quotes. She's biologically his cousin, but he's been raised as her brother for the majority of their lives, so...
Yeah.
They're siblings.
Yeah.
They're blood related. And she claims, by Sugua's own admission, Kirito grew distant from her once he realized the actual nature of their biological relationship. And
so she actually was his sister. They may have met. No.
No.
They're actually cousins and not blood siblings. Years ago, he became distant from her, and he still held a torch for him romantically for some reason, and they don't explain why. I don't really want to know why, but they will explain why.
Yeah, I don't want to know. But, like... Dude, I
won't die.
Her saving grace is that her voice acting, at least in English, is good.
Actually, just a moment on the English voice actors. They did a damn good job considering I've seen some bad anime very recently. And the voice acting,
the voice director, Alex.
Yeah, I will say.
Voice director Alex Von David, I believe he did a very excellent job voice directing, and pretty much all the cast is good. I like Bryce Papenburg as Kirito, even if he sounds like a surfer dude most of the time, but I don't think that. I always find it amusing that Patty from Soul Eater is the voice of Asuna. Where were we? Ah, yes, Sugua. She is problematic. She likes her brother for some reason. Even by her own admission, he's kind of an asshole. And she has this other kind of dweebish friend who follows her a lot, and she kind of verbally abuses him, and he's a pervert, so he kind of deserves it sometimes, but would be, better as a love interest for her because, he's not her brother.
Yeah. And I will say, at least she didn't know it was Kirito, and, like, was like, oh, this is, like, I messed up, like, as soon as she realized it was. So... At least there's that, but why did they even bother with this subplot in the first place? Like, all it does is just waste time and just...
We jumped ahead we got ahead of ourselves. Kirito is in Alfheim, doing his thing, but so is Sugua, but she's got a pseudonym. She calls herself Lifa, and her in-game avatar looks significantly different from her real-world appearance, unlike Sword Art Online, where their avatars were actually matched to their real-world appearances after Kaiba.
Reasons.
Yeah. I don't... Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't like that mirror. It just doesn't make sense to me.
So, yeah, basically, Kirito is working with his own sister, but he doesn't know it, even though they sound the same. The art style, they all have the same face, but shh, don't give away the game.
Yeah, like, didn't she like want to see what the fuss was all about VR?
And then got addicted.
Yeah.
As most people do.
That thing that nearly kills your brother. Sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she's basically Kirito's guide to Alfheim because she's been playing it longer.
Yeah.
And they're basically jumping back and forth, helping. What are they even doing? They get involved with a subplot where they have to help Lifa's guild, I guess, her associated kingdom, because that's how Alfheim works, I guess.
Yeah.
They have to stop a political plot, even though it's Alfheim and no one can actually die for real. And Kirito, because he's such a great guy, agrees to help them.
Yes, but tentacle
agrees
monsters.
To leave his girlfriend and those other players behind. And the fan service in the first half of season 1 was already kind of suspect. When it starts to just
The
Yes.
first half
ramped
of
up
season
here,
1, I'm pretty certain you mean the second half of season 1.
have their
There
moments,
was
but the second
basically
half,
none in the first half.
I mean,
there's some moments.
yeah, it's not a lot, but
In compared to what happens
What, you mean
when
like
they get
that
to
one
Alpine.
time those guys who were playing as women and trying to basically be massive pedos ended up getting turned back into guys because of reasons?
That is fan service for a certain crowd, but not what I was thinking
You're a
of.
guy? You're not 17? It's like, oh no.
That was actually probably one of the funnier moments of the show.
I'm not gonna lie, that is
Um,
honestly the best joke so far, but because it's so early in the show, it gets buried.
yeah.
Yeah, I sometimes forget it's in there. So yeah, the show just gets more odd and fetishy and creepy. Like Asuna is basically stuck in captivity
It
from the new
started
villain.
fetishy, honestly, with that same joke that I mentioned.
Mm,
They got more fetishy.
yeah, it got really, really bad.
Yeah. Oh yes, we forgot to actually describe the actual villain of this arc.
Oh god.
I can't remember his name is, what's his name? Real name, Sugo. He works for the company he works for Asuna's father for his company. And
Which is a
somehow he's
private
convinced
medical
Asuna's
firm, as far as I'm aware.
yeah, he has somehow convinced Asuna's family to basically give what happened. He's going to marry Asuna even though she's in a coma. So Kirito has to basically before it's too late. Mind you, this is a grown-ass man, by the way.
Anyone
and
that sniffs
he's also a
woman's
player
hair
in
in
the game.
anime is a serious
Yeah.
fucking villain.
Yeah, this guy is like, oh god, like this guy is one of the sole reasons why I hate Alfheim, because like every scene where they go to like the top of the tower, or whatever, where it's like Asuna and this creepy dude, I just cringe so hard. 'Cause it's like,
Honestly, he's just fucking scum.
Yeah,
yeah,
Sugo also has an in-game avatar. He's King Oberon, the Fairy King.
Well,
He's
like the
running
furry
Alfheim.
king, am I right?
yeah.
And yeah, he's got Asuna in captivity. He's the one who's been holding her and the other players hostage for, what is he trying to do? Sell their brain data to the American government because, of course, it's anime. We can't let the U.S.
I think
government
he's
be.
trying to sell
somewhat
their
involved.
brains to the
Yeah.
Americans so that they could recode them and reimplant them into the bodies and use them as sleeper agents within Japan.
Mm.
Is like what the
Like,
fudge?
it was really fucked up, but it makes sense to me because I'm really fucked up.
Oh god.
Yeah, I can go into a long tirade about how anime just kind of
It's really fucked up.
well, that the American nation just kind of is a shadowy, evil, formless thing, and I guess we are, but
Oh yes, the two greatest evils in anime, America and the Catholic Church.
Huh?
I'm not even joking.
be messed up sometimes.
It's like, if you have a fantasy anime that features gods and demons, the Catholic Church is Hitler.
Oh
If you
gosh.
have a anime based in modern day reality, America is Hitler. And I reality with air quotes. There's usually ray guns and magic portals to other worlds, and America just wants to conquer Japan to get to the portal to the other world to harvest it of it all its oil.
Oh
Yes,
man.
I
that
feel like
that
what was that-
happened in an anime. That anime was actually pretty good.
Anime called Gate.
Yes.
That imperialistic, that overly nationalistic thing. Yeah,
They use
There's
50
some.
cal machine guns to kill a dragon, and then they come back, and it's like, America's like, wow, I bet they have oil in the other world. It's like, oh my god. I'm not even joking.
maybe probably be
That's
looking for
America's
oil there.
motivation to take over.
Oh god.
Probably be doing that. There's an odd, as an outsider looking in, having to contend with his own patriotic domestic work. There's just an odd nationalist streak in a lot of Japan's work. That's a story for another time.
As a citizen of Great Britain, I can say fuck you, traitor.
Love you too.
And
So basically, Alpine's plot is friggin' stupid.
Say again?
Well, long story short, Alpine's plot is stupid and kind of hateful and just really creepy.
Yeah, there's nothing...
Oh yeah, Asuna, she gets tentacle assaulted because...
Yeah, that's a thing. Like, there's nothing... It's like...
Because they were writing the doujin at the same time,
Yeah.
they thought they could save on animation by just animating that, and then using that as the intro for the doujin.
God. Because it's like... Oh, man, it's like...
Asuna decide... I'm sorry, go on.
No.
There's nothing to just... There's just nothing more to go on.
Like, it's
It's
just... No, it's
just fucked up.
I was just... No, my point is just... It was just gonna say... You go from Ironclad, which, again, has problems, and we've mentioned them. But it's fine,
All of them.
it's perfectly surfaceable, and, like, if you're gonna watch this show, that's, like... You're honestly fine stopping after that, because right after that, Alphelm is just the worst arc.
Honestly, with Ironclad, it's just a badly written isekai MMO, but has the value of watching it as it being the one that popularized the genre.
Yeah.
Watch that, then go
don't
watch
know.
ReZero.
Yeah.
You know, a good anime.
Yeah. You're much better... You're much better spending that, watching that, instead.
And can I please stop seeing animes recently where the plot is just the main character suffering?
Yeah.
Like,
Isn't that basically what
can that
ReZero
just
is?
not?
I mean, yeah, ReZero is basically, Subaru's life sucks.
As much as
Like,
Rem's life.
wow, I'm a complete
Yeah.
neat, and I'm going to the corner shop to get some fucking ramen because my health habits are about as healthy as my life habits. And then
Yeah.
it's like, oh shit, I'm in another world, and it's like furries and shit.
Yeah.
And then he proceeds to die like 600 times.
Yeah.
How come we don't get isekai anime in like Animal Crossing styled worlds? Like,
Yeah, like where it's just all
Because
peaceful.
Fingers. Well, no, here's the thing. I would happily watch a Animal Crossing anime where Tom Nook is like the main villain.
I'd watch that. That'd be
gives you a free
great.
house,
That'd be
he lets you. He lets you take your time paying off loans. That's amazing.
No. Here's how we do it. And yes, we're off topic for this. This is important to no one, but it's interesting. All right, you do it as an isekai. Some guy buys a video game, plugs it in, and then passes out. Wakes up inside Animal Crossing, where he's face to face with Tom Nook. It's like, wow, you really are up shit creek, aren't you? I can always fix that for you. I mean, there's this location which I can just give to you for the low price of, oh, I don't know, 6,000 bells a month. And then it basically just goes through what could be considered the plot of Animal Crossing, except with actually written character things. It's like this guy, he becomes best friends with like this core group of animals, because in Animal Crossing you're never friends with all of them. You want that guy to go fuck off into another guy's town, but you really like that person over there. They're awesome. They gave me an orange that one time. And then it's just all about the shadowy figure Tom Nook raining hell down upon you. It's like your debts are coming up soon.
Yes. Oh lordy.
No, I'd watch that. That'd be interesting if someone could actually develop that properly just on those few things that I've actually said. Just
Yeah.
like play through Animal Crossing for like 6 months to get a feel for the game.
Yeah.
And then
be
develop a anime about it.
Yeah, I'd be okay with that.
Painful than watching Alfheim again.
Yeah, I was gonna. Yeah, my problem with Alphelm is that it comes right after.
We're back on topic.
Yeah. Yeah,
Sorry, Joey.
but no, I was gonna say,
Damn your segues.
like, what hurts for me is that it's not only the fact that Alphelm is terrible and it comes right after Aincrad. It's the fact that it's, I think anyway, the worst arc of the show by far, and it's immediately after the first one, and that just completely sours, like, everything.
It's not the worst arc because I'm at least interested in the plot in it, even if once you look past all the terrible, just why would you bother writing that? That was just a bad idea in the first place. Like, if you take all that away and then look at it for what it is, it's like, it's not uninteresting. It keeps your attention.
I mean, a
Because
burn
Yeah.
another
spiral
arc
keeps my
later
attention,
on
doesn't
that
mean it's
is just
good.
like, wow, I can't believe that you actually wasted the fucking ink to print out the color for this animation. Just wow.
Yeah.
Like, you put effort into developing this, why?
I really don't even have that much to say about, Alphelm overall.
No, there's plenty to say. We are not done ripping this thing a new one. I
Uh,
have been holding this in for like 6 years.
okay, well, if you want to go off on one, then be my guest.
It's fine, I can sit back because honestly, it's the equivalent of Harry just sitting there going, when I'm talking about swords and airships.
Oh gosh. Oh, okay.
I'm intrigued.
I can kind of
Yeah.
I kind of agree with you, Joe. I'm not. It's the worst, but I won't say it's the worst. It's the worst arc, but I won't say it's the most boring arc, which is really sad.
Yeah.
I like that. Like the actual world of Alfheim is interesting enough from what little we see of it. It's just that it's technically not supposed to be the point of the actual arc. It's supposed to be Kirito saving his girlfriend who's in danger of being assaulted. Did we mention that she's in danger of being assaulted? Because the show definitely it lays it on thick.
Yeah, it lets you know, like,
thicker than Snake's ass.
indeed.
Dummy fick, Colonel.
Oh gosh, it's just so hateful.
Yeah.
It's just like what am I getting at? Like what am I getting at? It's just
You've actually
stupid.
got an outlet for talking about how horrible it is, but your brain is just condemned by how horrible it is. All you can manage to say is just, ugh.
Yeah, it's I don't. You guys know me. I'm not one to rail against shows too often.
No,
No,
you
but
don't
when
usually.
you try to rail against shows, it just comes out. It's just bad, isn't it? Though.
Yeah, you don't usually come off as like ranting about shows, or you're the type of guy that how long I've known you to try and look at the positives as much as possible, and
I mean, the most positive thing about the arc is that it ends.
oh, that's great. That's like, what was it, the line from Emperor's New Groove or whatever? Or like, an episode in Emperor's New School, I don't remember, whatever. Where they do like a movie or something, and Cusco's one gets completely screwed up, and then the guys are just like, ooh, I like the end. Why? Because it was the end. Yeah. I love that.
I think I remember that. What happened? So
I can't remember if
I
that
was
was
watching-
Kronk's New Groove or if that was an episode of Emperor's New School.
Yeah.
Okay, so for further context, I was watching Sword Art Online like 2013 to 2014. So you know what else was airing around that time on TV, on American television? Power Rangers, Mega Force, and Pokemon Black and White. Considered some of the worst series of their respective franchises, and I stuck through both of those to my detriment. And they special ways, but they didn't assault me like Sword Art Online did. They were not as hateful as Sword Art Online was in its first season.
Yeah.
They didn't aspire to be quote unquote intelligent shows for grown up, mature audiences, like Sword Art Online's proponents said it was.
Yeah.
This show
Yeah,
is like everything wrong with anime.
you pretty
I know,
much.
and that's probably that might be a little too strong, but it is just not right.
Yeah, I see.
Like,
I can see what you
you have to
mean
do a
with
lot
that.
to actually morally offend me when I'm watching something.
Yeah.
I
Oh, you
I
know
watch some
what
shows
else
I probably
came out in
shouldn't.
2014? No Game, No Life.
Yeah, people always
The first season of
suggest
Seven
that.
Deadly Sins. Freaking
Oh, yeah, that's we don't
Yuki
talk
Yuna
about
is a
that.
hero. Because I'm gonna say that's better than Sword Art.
Oh dear. So what was I? Is that you have to do something particularly heinous to really get my actual hatred?
Yeah.
And I think just really done was the moment pretty much everyone was done. The moment some tsunami people were actually done. And that is, what is it, the second to last or third to last episode? Second to last, I believe. So, and Slifa slash Sugwa and their assorted fairy allies storm the tree because, you know, Kirito actually has stuff to do.
Mm-hmm.
Kill la Kill came out in 2014. Well, 2013, 14-ish. So that was airing.
Kirito ascends to the tree by himself because protagonist stuff, and he decides he has to confront Oberon alone. Actually, I think he gets teleported away from everyone else, Harry Potter style.
Yeah, I
But
think. Yeah.
to suffer alone always.
There was actually a lot of good anime in 2014.
I guess we. Well, before we go on that.
Always trying to dull the pain.
I'm not
Yeah.
going to go on to that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's just end Alfheim, please.
Can we talk about the next arc and just say Alfheim was garbage?
No. I want to hear Scrappy's takes on this. I want Scrappy to just finish his thoughts.
Because
Let
the
me
music intensifies significantly.
hear the music, so that's, I guess, appropriate. Okay, so Kirito is in the gauntlet with Oberon slash Sugo slash dipshit, excuse me, and I think I'm a little heated right now.
A little bit.
Oh yeah, Asuna, the moment that remember when I mentioned a tentacle assault? Yeah, that was the one that was preceded by the one time she tried to have some agency in this arc. She tried to escape. She got caught. She got thrown back in the cage crying.
Oh
because
yeah, I
that's
remember
what she gets,
that.
apparently.
There
Yeah,
was
I
assumed tentacles.
Yeah, I remember seeing that, and I was like, oh, Asuna's actually gonna try, like, use her initiative and actually try to escape. I wonder how this is
Because
gonna
she's
go.
actually kind of badass with a sword, so
Yeah.
maybe she'd be alright with stealth considering the type of sword she uses.
Yeah, I was like,
It's not a direct, it's a dueling weapon. You don't want to be in a major battle, so stealth would definitely be an option for her.
Okay,
But,
yeah, that part really.
And then what thought into this? The people who wrote this.
Yeah, that part like really pissed me off because it's like, yeah, I like, okay, I would have loved it if they played with our expectations and actually made Asuna just get out by herself and like, I don't need Kirito to come and save me. I'll do this on my own and just escape. But nope, they have to do all that like tentacle nonsense and like, God, I hate it.
Okay, you thank you for putting that succinctly, Harry. So, no, I'm serious. Like that needed to be rolled out
Yeah.
because it reverberates into what happens in the penultimate episode. Kirito arrives to confront Oberon, Sugo, whatever you call him, and Asuna's there, chained up, because that's what she is, an object at this point. Sugo, since he basically runs Alfheim Online, he has control of the game. He turns up Kirito's pain index and tortures him.
Yeah, pretty much.
But it's not enough to physically scar him. He has to mentally scar him and Asuna.
But then it doesn't work because Kirito engages plot armor and just says, nah, mate.
He,
and then
God,
uses the
Sugo
master
literally
password to
assaults
summon the
Asuna and
fucking
licks her
magical
tears. It's
sword and fuck him up. Despite being in pain more agonizing than dying in an electric chair.
Yeah. Anyway, what were you
forgive
saying?
the show for what they did to Asuna in this arc.
Yeah, it's really bad. Like, it was hard to watch. Like, why?
Asuna want a cracker?
She wants to crack Sugo's skull open, I know that, but
I would too.
Jeez.
Like that's like the worst kind of human being.
I mean, debatably is.
I mean, there's probably worse, but let's not get into that.
I mean, there's
don't worry,
always
we
that
can discuss
guy.
the merits of murderer versus would-be rapist in the show itself, because
I mean, is he
Sugo
really as
doesn't-
bad as the tentacle monsters he employed?
yes, because he actually enjoyed what he did.
Yeah.
So did the tentacle monsters.
Yeah,
But
but
he's
still,
a human being.
he should. Yeah,
As far as we know, tentacle creatures are just AI.
That's
No, they
true.
They're
weren't.
bad, but they're
They were implied to
Okay, then.
actually be development staff.
Really?
Yeah.
just wrong with this show.
Okay, that makes it even worse.
If you watch that show again, they're too smart to be considered AI. They're actually, and how they talk, they're actually people in bodies that they've chosen to be like that instead of being a humanoid.
The more we talk about the more we talk about Alfheim, and the more I think about it, the more god awful it gets.
That's
Yeah,
what
you-
Joey was getting at earlier on.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Can we just
yeah,
get
I'm
past the
kind of
plot armor
rushing through
sword
this,
fight where the guy's
yeah, I'm gonna
dying?
get this.
Yeah.
Kirito and Asuna are at their lowest point, and then they receive a gift from heaven, or really hell, because Kaiba's ghost somehow returns.
They get a
Kaiba's
FedEx
ghost
passage from Stan,
spirit
Lord of
or
Darkness.
Digimon form shows up, and yes, he somehow hacks into Alfheim's code, because Alfheim is sharing source code of
No,
Sword
he
Art
doesn't
Online, the
hack
game.
into it. He just
This is-
knows the master. He just knows Kaiba's password.
Yeah, this is another one of those stupid moments.
It's like it's he didn't hack. He
Basically,
just logged
if
into Kaiba's
he gives
account.
Kirito master control.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on, Joey.
It's like, I don't know whether it was Kirito just knowing about it, or if it was Kaiba still existing in the game or some shit. It's like, is Kaiba dead? It's not confirmed.
I always assumed it was like a copy of his mind. Maybe not the original, but
Yeah, I always assumed it was like some
Of
kind of weird
reflection of him.
copy or something.
hope it was a copy, because the original's an asshole.
Yeah.
So basically, Kirito gets master control, turns the pain index on Sugo, and subjects him to torture because, you know, his girlfriend got assaulted. He's not exactly in a forgiving mood.
Nope.
Destroys Sugo's virtual body and somehow actually causes physical, possibly permanent damage to Sugo's real body. And finally frees Asuna, who has been, you know, tormented beyond all belief at this point, and, you know, needs a jacket to cover herself, but let's not get into that. Finally, the bull crap is over. I have to go visit
Okay, so
Asuna
can we
at the
just
hospital.
finish off with the bullshit? Okay.
We're getting there, don't worry.
If we're
Kirito
done with
goes back to
Asuna,
the
there's
hospital,
like a
see-
scene left. Yeah.
Yes, Kirito goes to visit Asuna at the hospital. Sugo fights him in the hospital, fights him in the parking lot with no security. Half
With a
blind,
knife.
Kirito
Yeah.
wins because
Because
Yeah,
Kirito
Kirito
has
wins
a
'cause-
knife.
Yeah.
yeah.
Fucking
yeah,
shanks the
kisses Asuna,
bitch in the
having
street.
brushed her
It's
teeth.
like,
Yeah. So,
in the redeeming
know-
factor for the entire arc.
I mean, I'll be honest, like, that was one of the parts of the show where I was actually fully on Kirito's side, because, like, that guy was just scum of the earth, honestly.
it's kind of weird we have to have a would-be rapist just to sympathize with Kirito. That's questionable. So also, Kirito consults with Kaiba's ghost and receives a world seed that he can use to create other VR MMOs, because they've given his friends such lovely memories over the past few years.
Yeah.
He takes it.
Basically just gives him source code.
Of
And then
VR
they
MMOs
upload
is
it
safe and
onto
pure,
4chan.
basically. And thus Kirito, Asuna, and their friends, including Yui, who has been revived during the Alfheim arc, which is one of its few saving graces.
Yeah.
And
And
they
I
all
think
fly
the
off to
very-
have fun for once.
No, they don't just fly off to have fun. They use the master password and the fact that they have basically the seed for all True Dive VR MMOs just uploading onto the internet as they speak. And they use that technology and knowledge to completely copy-paste Ironclad into the game.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
such a lovely place.
Goodness gracious.
But no, the reason behind that was not because, hey, fuck it, it's safe now, we could properly go explore it. It's because I've got a fucking bone to pick with this fucking flying castle. I'm gonna climb every fucking level like I said I was gonna.
Yeah.
It was so
And that is
fucking stupid.
And that is Sword Art Online Season 1.
Yeah, I vaguely remember that. I think I don't I think
Season 1's not over yet, is it?
there's like
No, it's not.
there's
There's another arc after that.
well, isn't there like
Season 1's it. The only thing that was after that was a pool episode, which is also a recap episode.
there's nothing really to say. If we can just go on that just really quickly before we end today, there's nothing really to say about that besides it's just a recap episode that is a movie for some reason, because screw you, that's why, with some random pool scenes every like 25 minutes or so. It's like it's really
Kirito's not the
pointless.
pool, it's just the girls.
Yeah, Kirito is like talking to some other dude.
He's explaining to the government what the hell just happened.
Yeah. Well, the other characters just chilling, doing their thing. But there's nothing to really say about it. It just kind of exists.
Also, Harry, what do you mean end right there? We still got another season to talk about.
We're not doing the whole show. If we do the whole show today, we're gonna end up just skimming through it, and I don't want to do that because there's still a lot to say.
Do you want to do the rest of Sword Art tomorrow?
No, we don't need to. We don't need to do that. We can just do it. We can just have it do part 2 next time, or like whatever.
Okay, so in 2 weeks, then.
Yeah, because I know there are some topics that are just gonna take multiple streams because there's just too much.
Tired.
Yeah, there's some stuff like Sword Art. There's just too much to say.
Alright, so we'll do Sword Art Part 2 next time then.
Yeah.
And I'll probably find some time to start watching Sword Art Season 3.
Luck.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, what? I feel actually a little exhausted. I think I went a little too hard. I'm sorry, guys.
It was.
If this is where we're ending this, then it's
It was good to get this stuff off a chest because I've been wanting to rip this show a new one for a long time.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Well, I'm glad for providing you an outlet.
And we still have a long left to go.
We've got.
Yes,
Okay,
but the other
when it
2
comes
seasons
to
don't reach
Sword
the
Art,
horrifying lows.
Yeah.
Except for
Honestly, when
season
it comes
3
to Sword
early
Art,
on.
I do not consider the seasons to end where they actually end. I
Yeah.
consider Ironclad to be 1 season, Alfhelm to be 1 season, frickin'
The movie.
GTO was 1 season, the movie is 1 season.
Oh god, the movie.
Which
I've
movie?
never seen
There's
the
2
movie.
of them.
The AR one.
Ordinal
Okay,
scale.
yeah.
Ordinal.
The AR movie is just bad, but it's not as bad as Alfhelm.
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
It's just unmemorable.
More on that
It's an
later.
anime movie.
More-
no, seriously.
More on that later though, because
More
yeah.
on that in 2 weeks' time on Saturday, sometime between 11 and 3 a.m. GMT.
Yep.
To accommodate my ass.
Da-da-da-da-da-da.
Bitch, move to England already.
Wish it was that simple.
I wish England
Or
was
give me
worth
money,
moving
Joey.
to. Implying I have money.
Anyways, are we done then?
I like
Alright,
Saki
yeah,
as
we're done.
design
We're
and
just
Alfheim, but
finishing off, so we'll do our outros. Thank you for listening to our my drunken rambles. These two were sober. I've actually sobered up and had a hangover already.
have the
by the
urge
time
to
that
drink
we've been
after talking
recording
about
this.
Alfheim.
Yeah.
You'd want to drink after. I had it long before. I was going to end up with a headache either way, so might as well have had a hangover headache, so I can blame it on that. Anyway, thank you. I've been Joe or Key Gaming or whatever the fuck you know me as, and yes.
I'm Harry who wants to kill Alfhelm Online.
Everyone wants to kill that asshole
Ah.
from outside online. The game itself is probably
I
right.
am Scrappy Fan 92, regretting several things that I said.
Yeah.
Or am I? I'm tired. I don't know what's going on. I am Scrappy Fan 92, and also just screw Alfheim. Screw it hard.
That's
No,
probably.
don't screw it. You probably catch something.
I think Alfhelm might be the worst thing I've seen in media in the past 5 to 10 years.
Well, I don't know about that because I have seen
Dang.
the Star Wars sequel trilogy.
No. That doesn't even
Talking
come
about
close.
anime, and we're not getting
I'm-
into this.
No,
I'm
Joey.
taking the piss.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
I'm taking the piss.
As much as I have issues with the sequel trilogy, they're not even close to Alfhelm bad.
Thank you all for watching the Brain Block podcast. We've been your hosts. You know who we are. We just told you. And have a lovely evening, morning, or whenever you get around to watching this. Goodbye.
Indeed. Good night.
Very well, folks, and if you are still interested in our opinions, stay tuned. I presume we'll be a lot more judicious about the rest of Sword Art Online, because I think this is honestly the low point, and it's mostly gonna go up from here.
Harry,
Yeah.
should I tell him or do you want to tell him?
I'm actually still streaming my side, so it's fine.
Oh, fair.
But no, yeah, it's gonna. I have some good things to say about the upcoming season and whatnot, but yeah, we'll get to that.
It's 3 a.m.
Woo!
Yeah. Good night, everyone. I can't feel my eyeballs.
Balls. Okay, I'm gonna stop
Oh.
streaming my side too.
I'm gonna go
Off
to
the cuff
bed
now.
because it is